everyone. Today our project title is Temperature Monitoring System. Myself Arigamis from Secondary EC Department from National Engineering College.
Myself A. Sanjay Kumar from Secondary EC Department, National Engineering College.
Myself Mohan sir from Secondary EC Department, National Engineering College.
Myself Sathivel, Secondary EC Department from National Engineering College.
Great.
Myself O. Marisaran from Secondary EC Department, National Engineering College.
Hello everyone, our project is about the temperature and humidity monitoring system. Our main objective is to monitor the environmental parameters such as temperature and humidity using the DHT11 sensor and display the data on the OLED screen. To establish a Wi-Fi connection and host a web server to make the temperature, humidity and the IP address accessible in online. To create a visually appealing web interface for displaying real-time sensor data and device information remotely. Next we get into the abstract. Here we used the ESP32 microcontroller for IoT based temperature and humidity monitoring. The DHT11 sensor collects environmental data such as temperature and humidity, which is displayed locally on a OLED screen. Additionally, the ESP32 establishes a Wi-Fi connection and hosts a web server, enabling users to access the sensor readings and device IP address via a web interface. This interface uses a responsive design for accessibility across various devices and providing the real-time updates and enhancing the usability of IoT systems for real-time remote monitoring. Next we go into the block diagram. Here we use the ESP32 microcontroller. Here we giving 5 volt DC power supply to the ESP32. In ESP32, the DHT11 sensor and the OLED display are connected. The DHT11 sensor is used to sense the temperature and humidity in the environment, and the data are transferred into the ESP32. The ESP32 provides the output in both Wi-Fi module and the OLED display. Next we go into the simulation. This is our simulation model we have done. Here we use the several libraries such as DHT22 for detecting the DHT11 sensor and DHT sensor library for sensing the temperature and humidity, and the Adafruit GFX library is used as graphics library used to display output, and Adafruit SSD1306 is used to detect OLED display.
So let's get into the working model. So let's get into the library. So first of all, we coming from the Wi-Fi.h. helps to connect the ESP32 to connect via the Wi-Fi. Then web server helps to connect the ESP32, then create a small web server via HTTP server. Then Adafruit sensor and DHT11 for using the DHT11 temperature and humidity sensor. Then Adafruit GFX.h, then Adafruit SSD1306.h used to control the OLED screen which via graphics and text. So let's get into the pin and display setup. So in pin and display setup, first of all we came across the DPH pin 25. DTH pin 25 is connected to the pin ESP32 of 25. Then so screen width and the screen height OLED display as mentioned as 128 cross 64 pixels. Then let's come into the Wi-Fi setup. In Wi-Fi setup, I have included that my Wi-Fi that ungal nanban. Then I have mentioned my password. Then which is used to connect via my Wi-Fi and send the data to my mobile. Then global variables. In global variables, I have used the temperature, humidity. Variables used to store the temperature, humidity, and animation X position. Then setup function. In setup function, a voice setup serial begin. I have mentioned the serial monitor band. Then start monitoring the debugging and start the DHT sensor. Then OLED display initialization. Then OLED display initialization, I have initialize the display which I have mentioned Adafruit SSD1306. Then Wi-Fi connection. If the Wi-Fi connection is connected, then it shows the positive message that called Wi-Fi is connected. Then starts to display the output. Then coming to web server setup, I have set a web server to respond the handling route while accessing the home page. Then loop function I have included. Then while loop I have included the .server.hand client. Check if anyone is connecting to the web server and respond. Then the sensor coming across to the sensor which is used to sense the temperature and humidity. Then which our output is given to the both the Wi-Fi module and OLED display. In OLED display, I have mentioned the temperature, humidity, and IP address which I have connected to the Wi-Fi. Then a sample animation, a small animation I have inserted, a small white square I have inserted. I will show it in the working model. So the delay I have mentioned the 1000. Then coming to the web page handle route, I have used a HTML server for building up the web server to be easy and more convenient. Then which shows the temperature, humidity, and ESP32 IP address. So let's get into the simulation model which I have modeled the DSP32 in a real time. So here's the working model. Here I have inserted ESP32, then USB B type which I upload the code through the ESP32, then which is used and the DHT11 sensor I have connected here, which is used to sense the temperature and the humidity, and a OLED display is connected used to display the output and the IP address. So here we can come across the I have inserted a USB B type. No, here I uploaded the code. Then first of all they sense the code via the ESP32, then sense the information to the DHT11 used to monitor the temperature and the humidity sensor. From the DHT11 it collects the information, then it sends to the ESP32, then it sends the output via Wi-Fi module and the display. Coming across to the display, it shows the temperature and humidity sensor and the IP address. And if we type the IP address which is 192.168.215.120, then it shows the output screen here. So as you can see that I have a display, I have typed the same IP address that I said no. So here you can come that temperature monitor system 32.3, then humidity 80%, then IP address which is same as the OLED display. So coming across the conclusion, so first of all I mentioned the pin diagram which is a DHT11 sensor. I have inserted the pin 25, then OLED display which I have mentioned the screen size and screen height. Then Wi-Fi, coming to Wi-Fi connection, I have shown my Wi-Fi Ungal number and my password. Then I connected I have connected the ESP32 Wi-Fi module, then which is used to provide the IP address on the OLED display. Then temperature monitoring, which retrieve the temperature humidity data from the DHT11 and displays the output and the IP address on the OLED screen. Includes web server. I have created a web server to host a temperature and humidity monitoring dashboard. Serve HTML content with the current temperature, humidity, and which displays the IP address in this trailer. From this we can monitor the real time temperature, humidity via Wi-Fi module, which is we can see from our portable devices or mobile phones. So thank you.